We're going fishing. Got my boat back. We're headed out somewhere. Let's get it. Decided to come out here to Grayson Lake. It's been a while. Last time I was out here, my lower unit screwed up on my boat. So come out here and do some tests on the boat. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Brand new lower unit. We're gonna run that thing through its paces. Gonna be throwing some baits, try to catch some big fish. Got my solar bat, floating bats with me. Getting ready to throw this solar bat decal on my boat. But we're gonna go out, throw some swim baits, spinner baits, probably a Ned rig, jig, stuff. I'm gonna try to catch a big one today, guys. More often than trying to test my boat out, make sure everything's good to go. We'll be going to Lake St. Clair in about 3.5, 4 weeks, so I wanna make sure everything's good to go. So let's go out and try to catch one. And let's hope we, you know, it may be 5-6 pounder, but let's hope we catch at least one.
You gotta get your arms way up in a cat and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. You gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis round. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
All right, so out here at Grayson, we go over here, started on this one spot that I usually like to fish at. I'm gonna start throwing a swim bait first thing this morning. Well, this morning it's about 10 o'clock, 9:30 or so, and seeing a lot of shad activity on the water. So I'm gonna start with something they're definitely chasing, and that's a swim bait. Probably gonna throw a Jackal rhythm wave, probably a 4-inch to get started, 1/2 ounce head. See what we got for them. This is a brand new crankbait rod for this season for me. This is an IMX Pro E66C CBR Deep Flex. Paired up with a 70 series Corrado. You know it. Got that small gel killer on there, the Copper Crawl 1.5. Next up, this is what I'm going to start with. This is a Jackal Rhythm Wave. This is a 3/8 ounce head, not 1/2 ounce, but it's just going to be beating this up off the bottom, make it look like an injured bait fish. Last but not least is the Fred Rubanus Boom Boom Plus. This is a color called Squeaky Dolphin. I caught the biggest bass I've ever caught out of Grayson on this exact bait about 5-6 years ago. It was actually the very first episode on this channel. So I'm gonna idle over here, spend some time hunting them down. JB's Fish Sauce Pinch of Garlic Jelly. New product out on the market right now. For JB's Fish Sauce, you can see, got a little, you can physically see it, just about dropped my NRX, which have not been good. But smallmouth up north, chewed on it last weekend. See if we can't get a big largemouth to chew on it today. Water temperature is 54, 50, it's actually 55 degrees. Air temperature is probably about the same, 50s. It's supposed to be 60 today, but it's going to have to hurry if it gets there. Switched up from that swim bait to this jig, just to slow it down a little bit. I know there's fish in this area. I've caught some big ones in here, but I'm just trying to key in on what they're doing. They may be lethargic. We have a low pressure day though, so I figure they'll be eating. The weather's been crazy here in Ohio for the past, I don't know, week or so. It was 70s, even into the, lower 80s for a while, and then we had a snowstorm. So obviously below 32 degrees there. It wasn't, it was just a skiff of snow. It wasn't any kind of accumulation, just a little bit of a dusting. But it's been cold for the past 7-8 days, and it's changed the water temperature a lot. Again, we're at 55 degrees. I'm gonna get back in here. You guys can't see it, I know, but there's a big flat in here. I feel like these fish are gonna be trying to move up to spawn. So I'm gonna get back in here in this little spawning flat, and I'm gonna throw something. I'm gonna fan cast this area, try to catch one. Right now what I'm trying to do is search the water and trying to find out where these fish are actually, where they're located, or where they're staging up at. Normally this time of year you want to find a steep bank next to a spawning flat. That way they you know, they'll stage up there. Oh, I just had a bite there on this jig. But they'll stage on a steep bank normally that's really close to the spawning area. That way they can feed pretty effortlessly by just, you know, inflating or deflating their swim bladder to go up and down. And they can also swim, obviously, but they can use that area as a way to ambush prey so they can get fed up for the spawn season, which won't be long. Again, we're 55 degrees. It's actually getting a little cooler as we go back in there. There's a little creek that feeds through, so that may affect what I'm going to do. I'm going to fish some of these power baits. As far as power style baits, this jig's not really a power style bait. I got a crankbait, spinnerbait, swim bait. I'm going to fish those for a while. If I don't get bit, then I'm going to go to a trusty, I'm going to throw a Ned rig probably, but the first thing I'm going to throw is going to be, on a spinning rod anyway, is going to be a shaky head. I catch a lot of fish out here on a shaky head. Pretty much I catch a lot of fish, you know, all over the place on a shaky head. It's a really good bait to have in your arsenal. I did get just a bite on this 3/8 ounce jig, so I'm going to fish it a little while longer, see what happens. NRX will fool you sometimes. Come across a rock and it just feels like you just get absolutely rocked. No pun intended. I have to get the jerkbait out here in a minute. Wind's picking up. This ought to be just absolute spinnerbait heaven today. Got a little chop on the water, overcast. It's a 1/2 ounce, again, Pepper Customs jigs, Fred Rubanis edition. It's called a Boom Boom Plus. It's just an underspin jig. I don't run a trailer on it because it messes with the blade, but again, in this exact same creek right here with this exact same bait, I got one of the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life out of here at Grayson, or the biggest bass that I've ever caught out of Grayson for sure. It's the second biggest bass I ever caught in my life on this exact same bait, so I do have some confidence in it. I feel like the water's a little too clear to be throwing this collar. This is, again, called Squeaky Dolphin, but it's I'm just searching some water right now, trying to find where they're located. Going back up in this shallower water, water temperature was getting colder, as again there's a little creek that comes in back in there, and I think that may be cooling the water off. We had a ton of rain yesterday, probably close to an inch, I would imagine. It rained from about 2 o'clock yesterday all the way through the night when I went to bed last night, so we got plenty of rain. I'm surprised the water's so clear out here. A day or so it'll probably be real muddy. It's probably haven't worked its way down through the tributaries yet to get in here, but we're still in search mode. We covered a lot of water with this spinnerbait until I get out here to this point where I know fish normally holds up. Then I'm gonna throw a bunch of baits at them. If I can catch a fish out here on this point with a certain bait, then I'll know I'll have a place to start. I'm slow rolling this spinnerbait. I call it a spinnerbait, but this little underspin jig, slow rolling it, letting it just tick off the bottom. Hopefully I can get one to reaction strike. I'd love to be able to crank them up. There's a point out here again. I'm gonna fish my way fairly quick to that point, and I'm gonna throw a bunch of baits at that point because I know there's always fish on it. If I can get one of them to bite a certain bait, then again, I'll have a starting point so I can actually continue the rest of my day. If I fish to this point and can't get bit on these reaction style bites, like a spinnerbait or crankbait, swim bait, then I'm gonna switch up to a shaky head. I'll definitely throw a shaky head out on this point because Josh and I absolutely wrecked them one day in here. We caught like 35 bass off one point with one keeper, which, you know, take that for what it is. If you just want to catch a lot of fish, a shaky head is definitely the answer for that. You can always catch fish on a shaky head. I've yet to catch an absolute monster on a shaky head. Probably 3 pounds, the biggest I've ever caught, but they absolutely will chew it. If you're looking for 5 fish that you can weigh in, don't look over the shaky head. Scared the crap out of me. Duck flying in here. Look at this guy. Well, when because of the duck. Yeah, they're pretty upset, man. Must have a nest over here or something. Doing what I can to rid the Mother Nature of some line too. Look at that little joker right there. Try throwing a shad rap for a little while. Water might be a little too clear for this collar here, but first one I found. Again, throwing this on the 866C CBR Deep Flex with a Crotto 70. Perfect style, or perfect combo for what I'm trying to do here, mid-range diving. Crankbaits, something like this shad rap or DT, or a 3XD, DT10 maybe, somewhere in that area. Baby. You're gonna have to get a lot bigger than that joker. Fish Bruin Creek in here quite a while. Man, I threw everything I had at him. I've been throwing a swim bait, underspin, shad rap, jig, shaky head, jerk bait. That's what I've thrown so far. The only fish right now is came on a 3/8 ounce jig that I poured. It's like a copperhead. It's copper paint on the head. It's kind of like a hammered deal. It's like hammered texture with a green pumpkin skirt and a net baits. I think it's a tiny pocket chunk trailer. Pretty phenomenal trailer there. This is the first time, you know, so far my boat's doing really well. This is the smoothest that it's ever shifted in its life since I've owned it. Obviously brand new trolling motor, or brand new lure unit. So we're gonna go out here, put this thing in the wind, run down the lake a little bit to a spot that I know about, right past what I call the gauntlet. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of boat traffic today, so I'm gonna run down there and try to find them. I have this sneaking suspicion that we're gonna have to really slow down, throw something finessey, maybe even a wacky rig, throw a wacky rig flick shake, or maybe a Cinco, something that I had a fish chase my flick shake that I have on a shaky head. I was just reeling it back to make another cast, and he chased it like it was, you know, the last thing on earth, and he was going to eat it, and missed it. But it wasn't very big, maybe 1 pound, pound and a half, maybe tops. The one I caught earlier was very tiny. So I'm definitely not on him right now. Again, I'm on my way back out of Bruin Creek here. I'm gonna go fish a couple more spots, check out the boat. Hopefully I can catch a few more fish for you guys. But right now, the only thing it's producing is a jig. I think I'm gonna have to really slow down. Again, as I said, I'm gonna throw a wacky rig. I'm going to throw I might throw that jerk bait a lot more. I feel like that fish that was chasing after that bait a minute ago would have ate a jerk bait if I'd have got it in front of him. So we'll see what happens, guys. We're it's fairly early. I don't even know what time it was. I got here about 9:30, quarter till 10. It is 12:30 now, so we've been out here about 2.5 hours or so. There's a lot of shad activity on the water, so I'm going to continue to throw that swim bait. I think they're going to eat it eventually if I get one in front of one's face. There's a guy that's been fishing this other bank over here down through there, and I ain't real sure. I think I know him, but I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure he was throwing a wacky rig. He caught 3 fish, two dinks, and one keeper, probably a 2.5–3 pounder. I'd say it was a nice fish. So that's where I got the idea of the finessey stuff at. Saw him throwing a wacky rig. He might have been throwing a floating worm. I'm not sure. I wasn't really all up in his business, but he was definitely throwing something in a finesse technique. So again, idle out here, go to a place. I'm gonna start throwing. I'm hoping I can get bit. I'm gonna throw the jerk bait first thing. If not, I'm working my way back through with the shaky head, and then switch over to the wacky rig if I have to. So 12:30. Got a few more hours to fish. I'm gonna go home and do some stuff for work. Hopefully I put some more on the scales here for you guys. Pretty chilly ride. Definitely gonna have to break out the storm rig here in just a second. It's supposed to be 60 degrees today. It ain't getting there. It's probably, I think it's dry. I think it's got colder since I've been here. Never fished this cut much. It's deep in here. I'm 30 yards, I'm 20 yards from the bank right here, and it's 24 foot deep, so it's got to be shallower over there. Fishing way in here, some timber back in here. Try to see what's up. Throw a jerk bait out here in the points and throw this jig around. Again, the wind's kicked up a lot since I ran around through here, so I don't think the wacky rig's going to be a player right now. No way you could feel it. There's one. Shad Rap. Freaking baby. That's 2 fish. I'll take them, catch them on a crankbait all day long, man. That's awesome. Again, tiny thing. Not even worth not even worth talking about. That thing's about half as big as my crankbait's half as big as it is. I'm getting somewhere. I had a hit right here a second ago on that same crankbait, so let's see what happens. Maybe crankbait is where it's at. I can get down with that. Stopped the GoPro a second ago. Threw this crankbait out again. Caught another one. This is a spot here. It's the biggest fish of the day. Man, he's a chunker. It is a tiny one too, so it's a pretty cool little spot. Again, shad rap, gold collar. Pretty cool. Like I said, I stopped the GoPro because I threw that other fish in and I made a cast. And before I could start the GoPro again, that little joker ate it too. So that's 3. 2 on a crankbait, 1 on a jig. So I'll be throwing this crankbait for a while. Been a pretty, it got absolutely cold there for a second. Now the sun's starting to poke out of the clouds a little bit, starting to warm it back up a little bit, but it was chilly a second ago. Water temperature up here on this spot is about 55.5 degrees, so about a half degree warmer. Not too much difference, but Got 2 fish on a little bit of a bank here with some timber on it. Spot and 2 largemouth so far. Not killing them by any means, but I'll take it. There's one. These little jokers are chewing this thing. I mean, babies. Oh, golly. Hey, you know what? You can't always catch big ones, man. I'll tell you what. They're sure fun to catch. Loading this 866 up. Those little babies there. Babies are chewing this thing. I mean, I don't know if I've ever caught bass this small out here. Catching a lot of these on the outside of the mouth, so I don't know if they're not committing to it or it's just so big compared to them. But babies. Still absolutely fun to catch, better than sitting on the couch on a Sunday afternoon out here enjoying the God's gift of the outdoors here, man. It is it's a decent day out here. It's a little chilly. It's okay though. Got I believe 5 fish now. It might be number 4. I'm terrible at counting. 4 or 5. I think it's 4. 3 on this crankbait, 1 on jig. Fish till about 2:30, 3 o'clock, see what happens. Go home, get some work done. Consider this a successful Sunday. Seems like I'm getting bit on this crankbait more when I'm around rocks. And again, I'm not catching giants, I'm not even catching keepers. But anything to build a plan or a pattern from is something that you definitely should store in your memory. Deeper banks seem to be where these smaller fish are where they're stacked up at. I'm 24 foot deep and I'm only 20 yards, probably not even that, 15 yards from the bank here. And again, I'm not absolutely crushing them. I'm not killing them by any means, but I'm trying to build a plan here, or try to build a pattern, try to catch some bigger fish. But right now, I'll be chunking and winding this bad boy for a while. Hopefully bringing across one that got some shoulders. Oh, there's a little bigger one, it feels like. Nope, got him hooked sideways. It's the same size, man. These are cookie cutters. As much as I like catching these things, it's almost time to switch baits. I had him hooked sideways, thought I had a freaking horse, but I didn't. Again, the little guys are chewing it. I haven't even had one that's been, that spot I caught a little while ago was the biggest bass I've caught on it, and it wasn't even 12 inches, I don't think. It may have been 11, close to 12. But I love catching these little things. They're fun, it's a blast. But I'm gonna have to switch collars, go a little deeper, do something. Try to get one. It's a little larger to chew this thing. All in all though, that's several fish in a few hours here. So again, pretty successful Sunday so far. This is absolutely ridiculous. Dink Fest 2021. And that joker right there is going to be a world class one. Look at that. He's 6 inches long and inch thick. Well, can't be mad at it. I am not mad at this situation. I'm catching fish. Eventually, there's going to be a little bigger one. Decided he wanted to chew on that. Again, still deeper banks. I'm 25 foot of water right here. There must be a channel swing bank here in this little cut. But can't get anything that's even worth bragging about to even attempt to eat it. And these little ones are just barely eating it. So I think I'm using the wrong collar, or I'm presenting it too fast. It's hard to say. But I think that's 6 or 7. And most of them's come on the crankbait, so not a bad day. Switch it up a little bit. Throwing a different style crankbait here. This is a Ott's Garage and one of the Rapala Slim series. Balsa bait. The trebles on this thing is absolutely massive for this bait. Runs really well. I hear they absolutely catch fish. So I'm gonna give her a shot here. I love the way it looks. Swims really well. Using 12-pound Sunline FC crank on this rod. This is a 200 E7 Crown Arc, old style. This is like the E series. I've had this thing probably at least 8 years. This is the only E6X rod that I own anymore. The only reason I own it is because it's a phenomenal rod. Most of my other stuff is higher end than this E6X, but man, for the money, at 199 bucks, limited lifetime warranty, really tough to beat the E6X series. Little mid-afternoon update here. Managed to find a few fish here. Sorry if you guys can hear the wind there. It's ripping pretty good. Managed to find a few fish on a Shad Rap. I think it's the Shad Rap 5. Caught a few fish. I can't get any big ones to even sniff it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go give her one more go at another spot I know around the lake here, and then call her a day. Unless I absolutely smash them around here, I'm going to go put my boat back on the trailer. Super happy to have my boat back. You guys know how big of a crazy time it's been over the past few weeks. And again, I know you guys are tired of me harping on it, but I want to give a shout out to Freedom Outdoors there in Wheelersburg, Ohio for getting me taken care of really quickly. Had my lower unit ordered one day, and then about 4 days later it was put on, so pretty good deal. Kevin Wales took really good care of me down there. And Warren Armstead, State Farm agent, has been my agent for a long time, and will continue to earn my business just for the simple fact is how well they took care of me on the fiasco about my boat. If you guys are just now joining my channel and don't know what I'm talking about, Misty and I were out here at this exact same lake about a month ago. Hit a rock or a stump under the water running. Luckily we weren't running too fast, probably 20 mile an hour. I knew I hit something. It didn't stop the boat. It didn't do any kind of like major damage to it, but it done some huge internal damage to my lower unit and ended up having to have a new one. So again, with Warren Armstead and that stuff, we got it taken care of. But we're gonna go try one more spot around the lake here, around towards Deer Creek. I'm not gonna go up in Deer Creek, but I'm gonna go around there, and I'm going to try one more spot and get out of here for the day, guys. Tell you what, these floating bats, these Solar Bat FL1s with these green lenses in them, green mirror, they are phenomenal looking, and they're even better use. You can see under the water. You got a lot more visibility. They wrap around your face for those of you guys that like wind protection and like getting that stuff out of your eyes and stuff. They're almost like they feel like a glass that would be foam padded, like for riding a Harley or something. But these are really cool. And if you don't know, the other aspect of these glasses is that they're called floating bats for a reason. They do float with them here in the water, but I have a video about that already. So they do float. There's a new style of floating bats coming out very, very soon. So if you guys want to get your hands on some awesome polarized sunglasses, check out solarbat.com. Tell them you saw it from On Another Line. Appreciate it. Little baby. These little guys are hungry today. Typical Grayson special right there. Look at that. Oh well, fun to catch. They're absolutely fun to catch. We're gonna spend a little bit more time out here. There's this little flat right here that Kyle and I caught them on several years ago. I'm gonna beat this flat up for a second with this crankbait, and I'm gonna call it a day, guys. If I don't catch any more here in a second, we're gonna call it a day. So those of you guys that sticking around for this episode of On Another Line, I appreciate it. If you guys want to see some videos or anything that you think I could cover, drop them in the comments below, and I'll definitely try to take care of those for you. My goal is to build a community of people that we can help each other build, you know, better fishing knowledge, or better fishing knowledge database, if you will. If you would share my content, try to get some people to subscribe to my channel. I have a goal of 4,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and right now I'm about 70 subs a month. I need to ramp that up to about 100 a month. I'd appreciate if you guys could get the word out there and share my channel. I'd appreciate it. But all in all, guys, a great time here at Grayson Lake in Grayson, Kentucky. We're not smashing them by any means. We've caught nothing but dinks, but hey, Dink Fest 2021 is better than no fish for 2021, so I'll take it. Guys, thanks for sticking around for this episode. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on another line.